Yeah, but when we get to $4 a gallon in gas, that expense is irrelevant.
Move closer to your work, right?
One of the things I thought was, I might be imagining this, but it seems to me one time when I was on the Gang of Four, back when gas prices were very, very high, we were talking about, people were starting to use more public transportation, and would that last? And one of the things that this study showed is that the use of public transportation did in fact drop once gas prices went back down again, right? But of course gas prices are kind of artificially low. Part of the reason that we don't have enough money to build roads is connected to that. But going back to what you were saying about public transportation, you want to talk about productivity. If you are in your car, you pretty much have to be driving. You can't be texting anymore in San Antonio. But if you're riding on one of the Wi-Fi buses, if you're riding on one of the new Wi-Fi buses, you could be being very productive, reading the news, getting emails done, that sort of thing. So.
Well, look, I'll admit to you, I don't see eye to eye with you on the mass transit thing because it is so heavily subsidized. You get to the point in some cities where it would be cheaper to buy every passenger a car than put them on these trains.
Well,
a pretty nice car.
Because we don't know.
Because you have mass transit systems in this country where the subsidy per passenger adds up into the thousands of dollars a year. So you could literally per person. So you could literally buy each and every person on that train or bus their own car. But of course, then you'd have the problem of not enough road capacity. Here's what I'm saying. I'm just talking about San Antonio. I'm not saying this works everywhere. But in San Antonio, which is a city designed around automotive traffic and travel, it's very spread out. It's already crisscrossed with highways and roadways. It's pretty clear we need more capacity on those roads. And unlike northern cities that have to use mass transit because a Chicago or a Boston has no land for extra lanes or new roads, we do. We could build out our road system. We do it even now. We build a new road, and before it's finished, it's over capacity. So all I'm saying is, since we don't have the Faustian choices that these northern cities have, why aren't we saying more productivity, more jobs, continue to make San Antonio a magnet for people moving from other parts of the country, build out these roads, and don't let that commute get to the point of a Houston or a Dallas.
Don't you remember 30 years ago, 40 years ago, many more years ago when I was a kid, San Antonio was always ahead of the curve. We always built, whether it was Loop 13, or whether it was 281 coming from downtown, or 37 going past South Cross through the southeast side of town, we always were ahead of the curve. We always had more road capacity than we needed. And then all of a sudden, and I assume that it's because the wisdom of the legislature started taking funds from the transportation fund and using it in other areas, that all of a sudden we didn't have these roads that we needed. Yeah, absolutely. We used to be ahead of the curve. And I think it's probably because of the funding.
Well, but some of it is with developers as well, because there was a time when developers had to supply funding or, for that access, that road access. And then you get out there in Stone Oak, where, while that is a master plan community, that is a traffic nightmare in San Antonio. And there is no plan to make that easier.
You can keep bringing up other things. You can keep saying the developer is a mass
transit. You're talking...
But I'm telling you, there's a direct payoff. If you build the roads, they pay for themselves. All right,
here's where I don't understand.
With the economic growth.
Just take 281, for example, and the battle with the toll road. Put your argument in there, because that's what's going on right now. Is the way I understand it, we can't build a public road, we have to build a pay road. Is that correct?
I don't believe
281?
that. There are some people saying that.
Well,
I don't believe tolls are the only way to do what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what you're asking.
But couldn't we have a conversation about quality of life and how development happens? I mean, that's part of what you're saying. I think there is a push at the city and county level with the way that they're remaking the Economic Development Foundation to say, where do we want growth to occur? And part of that is about not having more sprawl, so you're not having to build more roads, but you're taking the roads we do have and making them better, because we do have some pretty terrible roads.
Who decides when the sprawl ends, where it ends? Do we assign people where to live?
Isn't that a conversation we get to have, though, as a community?
It's like
creating a park.
But when you build mass transit, aren't you kind of assigning? You're picking winners, essentially. You're saying wherever we put the stations, or the hubs, or wherever we run the line, that's where development needs to be.
Well, that's exactly what they're doing.
I thought you like to pick winners and losers. Aren't you the libertarian?
Libertarians don't like to pick winners and losers. They like to see people win and lose.
The struggle.
I don't want to see anybody picked to win and lose. No.
No,
I want
if you
to
pick
see everybody
priorities
compete.
and you say, here's where it makes sense for growth, right? Because it's not over a sensitive aquifer recharge zone.
If I build you a high-speed rail line, will you give me some highway lanes? Can we work that out?
Where is it going to go?
Wherever you want, Elaine. It can go to your house. It can stop in front of your front door.
We don't have traffic in our neighborhood.
If it would take a high-speed rail line to make Nelson Wolff and Mayor Castro happy, and they could have a ribbon cutting and invite celebrities, then maybe we could get some roads built. That's what we need. We're a car-based city.
Where do you want the roads? That's
we
what
need
I'd like
more
to know.
lanes on existing roads.
But name one existing road where you want the lanes.
Every road you could name.
All of them need more? No.
Why is the commute getting longer in San Antonio?
Because
Why
more people are
every...
moving here. I'm not in favor of more people moving here. I like the smaller
So now you want to build a wall around the city.
Pretty
All right.
much. I wouldn't mind it. Go to Austin. The commute's already bad. People want to live there.
I thought I was the authoritarian figure. We got somebody that wants to assign you where you'll live. We got somebody else who wants to assign cap the population of the city. These things are just going to keep happening.
Hey, you're not teaching in a classroom with 40 kids next year.
That is true. That is true.
Go away. Go somewhere else.
We'll come back with Gang of Four. It's 10:46 on KTSA.
The topics that matter most. San Antonio's hottest topics.
Where do you
News
live
Talk
now?
550. KTSA.